Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. I'm Angelina. We have dedicated several episodes to analyzing the massive shockwave caused by the Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli affair with the CCP's political and military ranks. Throughout these segments, we have maintained one central, undeniable conclusion. First, Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli were not arrested for corruption. Second, there is an irreconcilable fundamental conflict between them and Xi Jinping. Third, this is an act of defiance, a direct confrontation aimed at dismantling the Xi administration and the current CCP structure. And this brings us to a critical question. What happens to Putin? Zhang Youxia and Liu Zhenli aren't just high-ranking generals. They are the core architects of the CCP's highest military decision-making body. And Zhang Youxia, in particular, has long been the primary figure leading the CCP military's high-level international engagements. This is a vital detail that vital detail that many are overlooking. The last country Zhang Youxia officially visited before his arrest was Russia. On November the 20th of last year, Zhang visited Russia at the invitation of Moscow. He met with Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belosov, who personally accompanied Zhang to review the Russian honor guard. Fast forward just 2 months, and this honored guest of Moscow is now a prisoner. This raises the stakes. How will Russia react? And with Beijing's military leadership in total disarray following this failed coup, what is Putin's move? Zhang Youxia was the indispensable linchpin of China-Russia military cooperation. He held several key roles that made him unique. One, he was the symbol of high-level military trust between the two nations. He made frequent visits to Moscow and shared deep personal ties with both Putin and Sergei Shoigu. He's a combat-hardened general and a staunch advocate for the alliance with Russia against the US strategy. This level of trust isn't built overnight. It's the result of decades of cultivation. For the Kremlin, Zhang was the man in Beijing who had the most influence, understood the Russian military's needs best, and was the most willing to pull the trigger on military logistics and cooperation. And with Zhang Gang, Putin has effectively lost his most reliable military liaison in Beijing. Zhang's downfall hits Russia in three critical areas. Number one, the strategic security. If Zhang had indeed attempted to cooperate with the US as a countermove against Xi, then the strategic blueprints, weapon deployments, and military secrets shared between China and Russia may now be compromised. For Russia, locked in a war of attrition, this is a catastrophic development. Secondly, the technical blackout. Military cooperation is about more than just signing papers. It involves command system integration, joint exercise scheduling, and strategic patrol plans. Sudden leadership changes are a nightmare for operational efficiency. We all know that. Number three, logistical instability. Russia is heavily dependent on China's industrial capacity. With the CCP military undergoing a massive purge, the remaining leadership will be paralyzed by fear. This means that speed and volume of supplies to Russia will likely become extremely conservative as officials prioritize their own survival. Furthermore, recent reports suggest Xi is ordering the withdrawal of lethal weapons deployed abroad due to internal instability. For a Russian army in desperate need of blood transfusion, this is a devastating blow. Looking back, the CCP's official media coverage of Zhang Youxia's Russia trip was unusually sparse. After returning, Zhang vanished for a week, remember? Sparkling widespread rumors. While we don't have the full story yet, one thing is certain. His arrest has shattered the stability of the China-Russia military axis. And news recently broke of a video call between, and it's basically yesterday, Russian Defense Minister Belosov and the new Chinese Defense Minister Dong Jun. On the surface, it looks like a signal of stability, but it's purely theater for the international community. Dong Jun is a Navy man with no real power base in the broader military hierarchy. He is essentially a figurehead used by the CCP for ceremonial duties. And let's not forget, Dong himself vanished for months under investigation. He is in no position to offer Putin the solid guarantees Zhang once did. The Zhang Youxia incident has opened a wound in China-Russia military trust that won't heal anytime soon. We are entering the most delicate and unstable period in the history of their no-limit partnership. Putin must now face the reality. With the old guard gone, do the previous agreements still hold? Is the no-limit partnership even a reality anymore? At a turning point in the Ukraine war, this chaos in Beijing is a cold front hitting Putin from behind. Europe isn't missing this opening. On the 27th, Finnish Prime Minister Petteri Orpo met with Xi Jinping and applied significant pressure. He stated clearly that Russia's attacks on civilians violate international law and that any support for Russia undermines China-EU relations. Orpo went a step further, saying Xi Jinping has the means to influence Putin. He can pressure him to end the war by reducing cooperation. This is a final ultimatum. Europe is signaling that they now view China's support for Russia as a direct security threat. They are giving Xi a golden bridge to retreat. use the military chaos as an excuse to cut ties with Putin. If Xi doesn't take it, the sanctions will be merciless. Under the weight of trade wars and a crumbling economy, can Xi Jinping hold his ground? And can Putin, sinking further into the quagmire of war, continue to pin his hopes on a man whose own military is in revolt? Just yesterday, President Trump mentioned in an interview saying that good things are happening in Ukraine. Could this good thing, quote, be the collapse of the Chinese support system due to the Zhang Youxia affair? Could this internal power struggle in Beijing accidentally become the catalyst for peace in Ukraine? We'll keep a close eye on these developments. Thank you for tuning in. See you all tomorrow.